Good morning, everyone. This is Kathy Mason from MasonWorks Marketing here on Conscious Business Zone with my new friend, Colby Wilk. Hi, Colby.
Well, hello.
What are you smoking over there?
My candle just went out. So,
I have had an interview where someone was smoking and I had no idea because I was in the middle of this getting ready. And oh my, she obviously did something and then blew out.
she was smoking a cigarette or something else.
Something else.
God
And
bless her. God bless her.
the video got a lot of views. So, okay, so Colby, we had a wonderful talk yesterday for just a little bit to find out a little bit about your expertise and how your expertise could help so many of the people in my audience right now as they're going through these changing times. It seems like we were being bombarded with a lot of energy up until now, and we kind of feel like we got a pause for us to catch up and then go. But let's start with you. Let's find out what it is. How did you get started? For the people that don't know you and don't know your story, could you share a little bit about how you got started in this work? I mean, when did you realize that you had these gifts and how did you become a wayfinder?
Oh, God bless you. Well, I work as a wayfinder, helping people to spot what's in their way that they're unaware of. So I use my intuitive gift to help people sense what they're unaware of. And by bringing their attention to it, transformation is possible. So like many of your listeners and yourself, I'm an empath, and being able to sense what someone feels or thinks or expects. And from there, I sat at the feet of many gurus and shaman and opened. And now I do what I do. I'm just at the end of the day, I'm just a really good listener, listening to what's said and what's not said, and being able to bring truth to people. Because, in my opinion, if someone's life is not happening, it's because they're avoiding a truth. They're stepping over something.
So, in your experience, is it a frequency imbalance? Is there any kind of common denominator that you see when people are stuck? Because it sounds like they're stuck. They don't even know what the next step would be, and you help them find that.
Everyone is stuck at some point because
Mhm.
there's a cycle, right? You're stuck. You're trying, desperately trying to change your circumstances, and then you experience a sense of being lost. Like, I don't know what to do. I've tried everything. I'm lost, and lost is better than stuck because it's fertile ground for something to happen. So first you're stuck, then you're lost, then within lost you have an insight. You get something, and then if you don't put something in place immediately to keep that insight alive, consider the books you've read and you're like, oh my gosh, this changes everything. And then 2 weeks later, you're back to your same craziness. It's because you didn't put something in place. So you get stuck, you get lost, you get something. And as soon as you get it, if you don't do something, you're going to forget it. And then you go to your addictions. And then you go back to being lost. So everyone experiences being stuck because stuck is I'm not accepting myself. At the end of the day, all healing is a subtraction. There's no addition to healing, just removing that which is untrue that you believe about yourself, others, and life. That you may have inherited, that may be from a past life, who knows? But by bringing people into the truth of themselves, they gain freedom, inner freedom. And sometimes that inner freedom results in outer freedom.
Almost all of it. I watched a bunch of your videos and I looked all through your website, and so many of the people that you've worked with have had spontaneous changes where they didn't even couldn't even put words to the freedom that you created for them in their life.
I don't create anything. Let me be
Okay.
really clear. It's not like, and I know a lot of healer types like to think that they do, but that's an ego game. Like everyone comes full and complete. I don't need to add anything. In fact, I can't. Right? I just help somebody be with themselves, the truth of themselves. And that means the truth being that they're limitless, magnificent, gorgeous. And in that is the transformation.
That
I'm very interested in inner freedom. That's what I'm really interested in. Other people, excuse me, hold on. Ubi, come on, get out of that. Sorry, my dog is my dog. And he's got a mind of his own. I'm very interested in inner freedom. And a lot of people are interested in outer freedom, boats, houses, livers. And in my experience, I'm really interested in helping people be beyond circumstance. Like it doesn't matter what happens. I'm okay. I have value. I don't have to do anything. That's my interest.
beautiful.
Yeah, some people get what's called a miraculous healing, but the truth is they've been leading up to that. It's not, I'm just part of the equation.
I understand.
Sometimes, just
I
part of
understand. I really like that too, that you're saying they heal themselves. You're the assist with a new perspective, or maybe even an energy level that holds the space for them to see the other part of themselves that's been hidden, like a portal to who they really are.
Mm.
In
You
one
know,
of your interviews, you talked about windows. One of your interviews, I think I might have been 2 years ago with Lauren Gailey, where you talked about you just keep opening windows in someone, or helping them open their own windows so that the light can shine out.
Oh, right. There's a
A
statement
little
that,
bit about that. I loved that.
like people think, how do I put this? It's, the ego, the spirit is surrounded by the ego. So, think of an egg. The white part of the egg is the ego. The yellow part, the sun, that's who you really are. In order to get to the sun, the yolk, you have to crack open the ego and the light pours out. So the light pours out of you once you recognize and crack open the ego. And look, every master was at one time a disaster. So for your listeners, if you're going through it, good. That's going to crack you open. If you let it, you either in a challenging circumstance become humiliated by it or you become humbled by it. And that makes all the difference in the world. Your wife leaves you, you're no longer able to do what you did for a living, a child dies, and you either are humiliated and broken by it or you're humbled. And that makes the difference. If you're humbled, then your soul's light can shine through. If you're humiliated, you're trying to make what happened not happen. You're making it wrong, making it bad. And that results in you becoming more concrete, more jaded, more brittle. And you see that in people's posture also. Like people become, I don't know, cement like. So if you're going through it, you're on your journey. Just because you're having a hard time doesn't mean you're not doing what you need to be doing. In fact, it's a good sign that you are. Most of us have the experience past 40 where our lives fall apart, some aspect of it. Life's going really well. You're building your fiefdom, and then something happens. And that's the opportunity to really become awakened.
And you don't have to have a near-death experience or do a ton of drugs to have these openings. You can. I mean, everything serves in some way in this game that we're in. But
The challenge with drugs is, and great, is it's difficult to integrate that experience. That's the challenge. You could have an incredible opening and see reality as it is, but then does that shift how you move in your everyday?
so I have a question for you. You were, I think, educated as a counselor, and then you went more into this type of wayfinder, soul work. Basically, is what you're doing. You're helping people recover their divinity, which is really important. What was the reasoning that you went out of traditional therapy into this?
I'm really interested in what works. I'm really interested in what works. Like, you don't do this work unless you need this kind of work, right? I needed this. So for me, I tend to do what works for me. And so I did the traditional path, and there's a place for it, for sure. But I kept on like, okay, I'm not becoming who I want to be. I sense something, some level of well-being that's possible, and this is not getting there. And so I just kept on searching for modalities, searching for things. And the truth is, I'm a natural intuitive, a natural empath. And so this work plays to my strengths. And I enjoy it. I really enjoy talking to people about what matters most to them and helping them to drop their false small self. That's really inspiring to me.
That's perfect. So the tools that you are hopefully going to talk a little bit about today for empaths and highly sensitive people, you've used them all yourself with success.
Well, so I'm a special ed kid growing up, right? So so for me, I was unable to meditate, right, for an hour or whatever it would be. So I had to develop gifted practices that I could do. And so that's what I teach other people. So highly sensitive people have an issue with space. That's their issue. Highly sensitive people are overwhelmed by what's outside of them: noise, sound, food, smells, you name it. And what's inside of them: feelings, interpretations, projections. So highly sensitive people have an issue with space. They don't understand that they have space between them and that which is causing the disturbance, which I think is an interesting perspective. So highly sensitive people need to know how space works. So I could do a few practices with you if you like.
I am a highly sensitive person and empathic and intuitive and psychic. So, and I have been since I was a little girl, and I know why I got my superpowers growing up. But and I cherish them. I use them to help other people, just like you. So I love this. I love this, and I love the idea that in my knowing, and I don't know how I know this, I feel that the first step of the evolution of the new human that we're becoming right now is that most people will become empathic. And as they start to feel those feelings that they weren't activated to feeling before, they aren't going to know which is theirs and which is outside. Or they'll be so receptive to the outside that they'll take on everything in every environment. And so that's why I was so excited to meet you and to hear that you have a toolkit that could help them.
Right. So highly sensitives and empaths, their journey is one of embodiment. That it's okay being here.
Okay.
That's their journey. Now, one could say that highly sensitives and empaths are anchoring in a vibration into the planet that then will propagate through the species. But right now, those of us who are highly sensitive and empathic are overwhelmed by our sensitivity. And because there are so many changes coming from the galactic sun that we are like, holy moly, what is going on? Why can't I sleep? Why am I so irritated? Okay, you're anchoring in a vibration. But just because you're an HSP and an empath doesn't mean you need to be miserable. There is, and yes, it is a gift, and one could say it's a curse, depending on how you work with it.
Right.
So empaths first need to learn, and highly sensitives, where they exist. So the first thing I teach an empath and highly sensitive is their still point, which is 3 fingers below their belly button and in the middle of them. So if you would, bring your attention 3 fingers below your belly button and in the middle of you. Close your eyes. This will just take a moment. It's not a big deal. You'll feel a difference. Close your eyes. Take a breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And bring your attention down into you. There you go. 3 fingers below your belly button in the middle of you, as if there's an eye in your belly. There you go. And now you just say still point. So say that.
Still point.
And I've just wired up that your guides will help you get there by saying, hey, help me to get to my still point. Can you say that?
Help me to get to my still point.
Now. And you'll drop pretty quickly like an anvil down. There you go.
Feels grounding too.
Yep. And there's space between your thoughts. Calm, grounded, present. Because HSPs tend to struggle with presence because everything is just too overwhelming. And they tend to live in their third eye or above it, which exposes them to all sorts of nasties. There you go. So this is the first thing I teach HSPs and empaths, because then you locate yourself. HSPs and empaths tend to locate other people and tend to be really good about being in other people's space so they can sense what's coming at them. But what that does is it exposes you to all sorts of astral forces. The other thing I'd like to share, and I know we don't have much time, is HSPs and empaths tend to keep their sensors pointing out. So you have an energetic egg around you, above you, below you, to the sides of you. And on that egg, on the outskirts, are sensors. Most people's sensors point in, but HSPs and empaths point out, making them highly aware of what's outside of them. So bring your attention back to your still point, 3 fingers below your belly button in the middle of you, and close your eyes. Even if you're at the gym, just do it. It'll take a moment. I promise you. It's not a big deal. Like I said, I had an attention issue, so everything I've developed is very quick and short. There we go. And just say still point again, still point. There you go. And from your still point, be aware of the egg around you. Even if you don't know how to do that, just intend. From your still point, don't go outside of yourself, stay down in, because we don't want to leave ourselves. Most HSPs leave themselves and then complain that no one's paying attention to them, or the attention they're getting is not what they want. This is why. If your attention is not in you, no one's paying attention to you. Okay? Because energy follows attention. There you go. Okay, so say still point one more time. Still point.
Still point.
Great. Now say, I ask
that
my sensors turn in.
I ask that my sensors turn in.
And put your hands out in front of you, like your hands out in front of you. And now slowly turn your hands towards yourself. Slowly, ever so slowly. Now open your eyes, look at me. And slowly turn your hands.
Oh, both of them.
Yeah. Now let's do it again. Put your hands out in front of you, palms out towards the camera. I ask that my sensors turn in. Slowly turn your hands. Slowly. Don't go fast. The front of my field sensors, the back of my field sensors, the sides, the top, the bottom. All my sensors now face me. Slowly, slowly. And now you're aware of your own energy. There you go.
My third eye is pulsing.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
And now you have you. Most HSPs are overwhelmed by everything that's outside of them, inside of them, because they're not experiencing it directly. If you're inside of you, then what's outside of you is not so overwhelming. And if you're inside of you, you can then, another couple of practices is get space from what your emotions are. Emotions are super important, but it's not all of you. So many people are used to following their emotions as if it's your compass. It's not. Don't make that mistake. It's part of what makes your compass, but it's not the whole of what you're to move towards, because your emotions can also be confused with your projections, can be confused with your imagination. So the work I do with HSPs and empaths is helping them to ground into themselves, to center and get space from others and from their emotional body. That doesn't mean you should become a robot, but a lot of HSPs are so overwhelmed by their emotions and others' emotions that they can't sense what's true.
So
How do you
how?
feel now that your sensors
Oh,
are
I
turned
feel
on?
great. It's interesting because I'll sometimes be here with you, and then I'm observing. I'm out of body observing us, and that's what this kind of felt like. I was definitely here, but an expanded view.
Right. Dissociation is the result of trauma for the most part, right? It was too tough to be present with you when whatever happened. So you decided knee-jerk reaction to leave yourself, which, if you do intentionally, is fine. If you want to astral project, that's great, right?
Yeah.
But if it's just a knee-jerk reaction,
No, it isn't.
you don't have control.
No,
Right.
it's not a knee-jerk reaction. It's being able to gather more information, and that aspect is loving, so loving, non-judgmental, that it actually it's added a lot of dimension to this life.
Great.
So, and I only do it when I think about doing it. So I mentioned before the evolution of our species. Do you see that in the work that you're doing and the sense that you have of humanity? We're going from the external. There's a lot of chaos, but it seems like there's a lot of people. Even our language is now talking about consciousness. Lots of people meditate. There's a lot of expanded opportunities that are acceptable now that may have been woo before. Are you seeing that at all? Are you seeing any evolutionary changes?
I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters at all, because
Okay.
all I can report on is what I perceive in my little corner of
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and
Perfect.
that would, force me to judge others. And I mean, God bless me, I'm judgmental for sure, right? But I don't want to put myself in the position to judge others, like to act as if I know. And the world is, sure, our world is changing, our culture is changing. It's become more tolerant in some ways and less tolerant in others,
Right.
right? Is the world easier than it was in the 1800s? Sure, I have running water. Absolutely. We have supermarkets. I have a car, right? And, I'm eating natural food is more difficult to find, right? So it's more like there's a lot of conversations going on right now that don't help people. Like, it's not a helpful conversation. It's more like the more interesting conversation is, how have I shifted in the last 5, 10 years? How have I opened more to myself with me? That's an interesting conversation to have with another person about them, about you. But whether society's changed, I don't know. I mean, the world's a big place. And you live in Seattle, like it's a liberal city, right? But I don't know. If I go to Minnesota or somewhere, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, we're both in kind of liberal, open-minded environments. Okay, so the questions I have also is about boundaries. I mean, when people talk about their experiences, the traditional thing I think is to project things, your wounds out on others, and project your thoughts outside of you. And then when you start to do the inner work, you start to realize that that's a judgment or that's a perspective that you have. And I'm not non-dual, but there is some sense of that in the bigger picture, everything is okay. And all I have to do is work on my frequency, my love of self, so I can love others. Could you talk a little bit about that, about boundaries and how people, projections?
Well, I guess what would be helpful is to help people recognize the difference between intuition and projection.
Okay.
So, intuition comes from a grounded, calm place, usually from your gut, the lower body, like below the heart. I know I'm intuitive if it just kind of pops up like a pop-up window and I don't have an attachment to what the outcome is. But sometimes I could be really frustrated and I could be like, look at that person. They're looking at me. They hate me or bah, 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 bah. That is a projection. Usually it's from my head or above my head. And it comes with frustration, anger, and overwhelm. That is not to be trusted as intuition. That is to look at, oh, I'm having a projection. What is this about? What have I not dealt with within myself that this is pointing to? When people are projecting, they lack energetic boundaries. They're usually in the other person's space. You have an egg, they have an egg, you're extending your egg into them, probably because you want something. Validation, usually. And so by pulling your egg back, you might notice you calm, presence, stillness, love, fertile grounds for intuition. I meet a lot of people who want to develop their intuitive gifts to get ahead, to develop power and influence, which at the end of the day is going to kick them in the butt. So there are two paths to the desire to develop intuition. One, power and influence, and the other is peace, presence, which ultimately results in power. If you want to develop your intuition, listeners, I'm going to ask why. Why do you want that? Because if you don't want it from a place of alignment, it's going to kick you in the butt to bring you to the other path. We're not here to develop intuition to pick stocks or bet at Vegas. You certainly can do it. People do it all the time. But eventually, that's not what the tool is for. It's a misuse.
Perfect. Thank you. So I have another question. Why are narcissists and empaths a lot of times connected together? Or do you have much experience with that?
Oh, sure. Look, people are constantly pointing fingers that that's a narcissist. My
Yeah.
ex-boyfriend was a narcissist, right? We are all somewhere on the scale of empathic, and we're all somewhere on the scale of narcissism. When someone points at that's a narcissist, my ex, whatever was a narcissist, you are pleading to be a victim, as if empaths are better than narcissists. Both empathy and narcissism comes from childhood trauma. In the case of empath, my case, I needed to figure out whether it was safe to go downstairs from my bedroom into the kitchen. And so I would extend my field out to sense who's down there and what's their mood. I was also sensed as a child, like think of an infant being held by their parent and getting really great attention, and then mom or dad gets distracted. At one point, you realize, wait a minute, if I smile and giggle, they'll pay attention to me. And so what happens is you stop focusing on yourself and you start focusing on the other. That's the seeds of empathy. I'm not focused on me, I'm focused on you. Now, there's a difference between empathy and compassion. Empathy is I tune to you. Compassion is I tune to my God, my divine. Now, narcissism is it's all about me. And I need it to all be about me because I'm scared if I don't make it about me, no one else will. And I got a lot of attention for making it about me. And I never learned that you also mattered. Two different sides of the coin. So empaths attract narcissists and narcissists attract empaths to heal and to understand the other person's skill set. I, as an empath, tend to draw people who are self-focused. I do. And who don't have the skill set that advanced of empathy. And that's because I'm fascinated by people who are self-focused, because I want to develop that skill in an even way. And they, who are self-focused, want to know what it is to be focused on another. And so we draw each other. Now, if you have two conscious people or more conscious people, you can have that conversation and no one gets to be made wrong or bad.
The victim perpetrator mentality is part of this whole, I think, evolutionary process that we're going through right now, where we get to look at our role and see how we want to play it, because nothing happens in our reality without our participation. It's dance.
Right.
Right.
You may not know we're leading, but we are leading.
Oh, yeah. And you can't really, some people can't talk about that I created all this and so I get to fix it. I created it so I can discreate it. But that's a lot of the
There's truth to that. And there are other things functioning that cause our manifestations other than our thinking, our beliefs, and expectations, right? Yes, our thinking, our feelings, and expectations play a role in what we manifest. But there are an incredible amount of things working upon us, karma, collective consciousness, just to name a few. If you're in something that you don't want to be in, I like the idea of tides. Consciousness has often been compared to an ocean. In the ocean, there are tides that we are caught in. Now, sometimes when you go to the beach, they'll say, stay out of the riptide. The riptide will pull you out into the ocean, into the depths of your consciousness. And so if you get caught in a riptide, the thing to do, they tell you, is not to fight, not to swim against it, because you will get tired out. It's just to tread water while you get pulled out into the depths. And keep your attention on the shore so you know where you are. Because the shore is where you want to go. Once the tide lets you out, then you can swim for the shore. So if you're in a situation that you don't like, you might be in a tide. And this tide may have taken lifetimes to develop. And your job is just to hang out and tread water and treat yourself lovingly. Stop trying to change it. Find a partner to escort you so you tread water and relax while the tide works upon you. I know so many people who have been through hell and have done everything in the world to resolve it, to change it, instead of just accepting it. Okay, I don't have the life I want. And the key here is to get to the point of, let's just say, I'm single and I don't want to be. I'm poor and I don't want to be. And the key here is to get, and it's okay. In fact, if I go my whole life like this, it's okay. You eat up the charge of karma, and that allows the tide to spit you out more quickly. But if you fight, oh, I'm poor and I don't want to be, somebody tell me how to get a job, here's my resume, which is fine. I understand. There's a place for effort and there's a place for accepting. Both are true. But I'm talking to those people who have tried everything in the world and nothing has worked. Your job now is to accept this may be it for the rest of your life. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but think about it. If your lifetimes have led up to this point, you're here to accept what you find unacceptable. In fact, many people are born into families with family members that they normally would never be able to accept if they met them in their everyday. The reason being is they're eating up a charge. Look, he's in prison, he cheats on his wife, whatever. Okay, I love him anyway. I don't approve of that, but it's not for me to, but I love him anyway. I accept him as he is. And that can be tremendously healing, and the tide might spit you out. And so then you swim to the shore being that which you desire. And now all of a sudden life starts to flow again.
I love that visual, because that is something that everyone is aware of, that the idea of surrender, which is frightening.
Oh my.
but in that case, if you don't surrender, you die. So it game over, start again, right? Wow.
Game over.
Yeah, game over. So I have another question. When you're measuring people's transformation, I know you have packages on your website of you can do multiple sessions, or you can do just one. And it looked like on also on your website, the examples, the videos that you have are amazing, where people really shifted right then and there. And I don't know how long the sessions were, but your clips are 11 minutes or shorter. When you're measuring their transformation, or when you're helping somebody through it, how do you know when a client's truly shifted from surviving their trauma or their sensitivity and then go to thriving with it? And then what does that look like or feel like?
Oh, you're very sweet. I know a lot of people think that healing is linear. Like, oh, I dealt with my abuse. Check. I dealt with my unworthiness. Check. Healing is not linear. I know a lot of people want you to believe that so they can sell you sessions and books. It's not. It's not like you have a session or sessions and then all of a sudden you're thriving and living in wherever in this house with this gorgeous lover in your bed. It's not how it is, my friends. It's not how it is. You were born to address issues in this life, and you tend to circle around the same issues your whole life. Hopefully, you circle from a higher perspective and you gain resilience. So what would have taken you out a month now takes you out a week, and then a day, and then an hour. And then in the moment, you make a different choice. But you don't go from stuck to thriving. And then all of a sudden you're ready. This one healer was saying, do a year of work with me and you'll be done with all your issues. No, that's not how it is. You're not on this planet just to hang out. You have work to do. You have issues to address. So yes, on my website, you're going to see those session clips. A session is normally 15 minutes, and those clips, they knocked them down to like 6 to 11 minutes. You're going to see transformation in place. And yes, people get better. People's well-being opens. They get jobs. They find lovers, wives, husbands. They discover purpose. But they're not done, because you're never done. There's always something, a calling for greater well-being, greater peace, greater love. Yeah, you're never done, ever.
I love that. Thank you so much, because I think that that's the other part of what we're seeing right now is we're seeing, especially as a sensitive, we're seeing global consciousness and the chaos in it. I don't watch the news, but I get enough just by going on YouTube or on Facebook or LinkedIn. I'll get something in my perspective. And when it triggers me, I thank it for giving me the insight that I still have that aspect to look at, whether it's compassion or kindness or some sort of judgment that shows up, because I do a lot of Ho'oponopono. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it even right, but it's the Hawaiian clearing and cleaning, because so much of this is your viewpoint, your perspective is can bring you peace. Let's see, what does the Buddhists say? Not sacrifice, but pain is voluntary, or I'll think of it in a second. But basically, the idea that you have an opportunity to look at anything in any way.
Oh, suffering is optional. And I think
Suffering is optional. Thank you. It was in there. Thank you. It was in my Rolodex that's back here.
look, suffering is optional. Like you can choose to suffer or not to suffer, but it feels like a much more complex choice than that when you're suffering.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Right? Like your husband dies, you lose a child, you lose your job. It's scary.
Right. Right.
We're scared. If you hold, and who doesn't in some moments, that look, I'm screwed. There'll never be another man, there'll never be another job, whatever the case may be. You're coming from lack. And of course you're coming from lack. Let's have some compassion here. So many new age people, self-development people, have become so narcissistic, so self-involved, so uncompassionate about the journey that they cut themselves off and they spiritually bypass their humanity.
Okay, so please add some more about that, because I find that fascinating. I was in a group we did a pilot for a show with 4 other women, 3 or 4, depending on how many showed up, and there had been a huge train wreck in Ohio, upstate Ohio, and I'm from Ohio. And that was one of the things on discussion, and I really lost it. I mean, they're Amish people, farmers. This was really bad. And there had been a Netflix show about a train wreck just like that, like the year before or 2 years before. So it was like, oh my God, did someone create this from that Netflix show? Oh, well, anyway, I got triggered big time, and no one else reacted. And it was like it wasn't in their world, so they didn't have compassion, or they didn't see the tragedy. And I still haven't integrated all of that. What watching them and being like curious how they didn't have any compassion for those victims. Yeah, I think that's what we're seeing is people are numbing out to what's going on.
Right. The idea being that the best thing I can do is hold peace and calm and anchor that in the midst of catastrophe, which is true. That's a great thing to do. But that is different than you created that. That's your problem.
Right.
I'm over here doing my own thing. That's just cold. So there's a place where the New Age movement has become about spiritual bypass, narcissism, and selfishness. Now, there is a place also for That's not my problem. I'm grateful that's not my problem. And I'm going to anchor into well-being while I care about you.
Right. Hold space.
While I care about you. What is my responsibility as a human being to other human beings? And I don't think that's a question that we're asking as a culture yet. I know my response. So many self-development people are so embroiled in their own trauma that they're just happy to be away from their trauma and have some distance from it, that another person's trauma causes them to cut themselves off and be cold. And in that, they cut themselves off from their own humanity. So many people in the self-development community are interested in knowing themselves as divine and are trying to unite themselves with the divine. But the truth is, they've got it ass backwards. The way you get to the divine, is you accept your humanity. By accepting your humanity, I am human. I love my humanity. Then your divinity opens. But if you do it the reverse way, guess what? You're going to get kicked in the ass. And you're going to come back to being faced with, okay, I don't like being human. And I don't like humans. And that's what's happening. I see it every day.
So I have a question about ETs as well. Do you think that there's ET influence here?
Of course.
Okay. So do you feel like you're influenced by them? Sorry.
No, it's okay. I've had some very negative experiences with ETs. I've had some very positive experiences with ETs. And so, look, I think that the question is, why are we here?
Exactly.
Now, I am here because I'm in a human body to be human. That's what I'm here to do, is be a human. Now, whether I was an angel or a Palladian or am in another lifetime or a parallel life is really inconsequential. The point is to be a human being, all that involves. Now, if aliens are screwing with you, there's stuff to do, for sure. And if you want alien contact, I'd request that you consider don't do that, because it's very difficult from this point of view to know what an alien really wants. What is their motivation? I know so many people who get embroiled with alien energy and don't really sense the motivation behind it. I had a client come to me and within the first 5 minutes started speaking another language. And she's like, isn't that great? And she's doing this stuff and, hand gestures. And it was obvious to me that that is not a good thing, because that anything that's, for lack of a better word, of the light doesn't turn and twist and take people over without your consent. So she would break down in the middle of the supermarket. It wasn't what she thought it was. And yet she wanted to feel special and chosen. And so she was open to it, consciously and unconsciously. And at the end of the day, it really harmed her, because those energies, in my opinion, are not necessarily good for the human body or psyche. We are here to be human, so be human. And if you don't want to be human, there is work to be done. This is your body, whatever body you have. That's your body to liberate with. You can't liberate without a body, my friends. You best make friends with it. And it is partnering with you, showing you your way.
Perfect. Thank you. So I believe that we stood in lines to get these bodies, and we won the lottery to be here right now during all these changes. But I'm not sure exactly what that newer human looks like. The reason why I brought up the open the windows, I loved your idea that the light, being more aware of the light within the vessel and then feeling safe to show that and be that, walking into the grocery store, going to the bank, going to work, wherever you are, is to be able to be that light, and live like that is sounds fabulous.
But not from, let me be clear here, not from a place of look at me,
Right. Okay.
not from a place of look how evolved I am. I see
Right.
this epidemic. This is an epidemic, not from a place of I've done my work. See, right? That's epidemic here. And it was true for me too in my early 20s and 30s, right? But from a place of this is who I am. I don't need you to notice me.
Right.
I don't, in fact, it's inconsequential to me,
Exactly.
right? So people say shine your light. No, don't shine your light. Don't. The sun shines because it's the sun. It's not efforting to shine.
Right. Right.
Are the sun. That's what you are. You are shining. There is no effort. The sun shines where you got the windows open or the shades down.
Right. Right. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So for people that are highly sensitive and not just HSPs, but they might be empathic, or they're starting to open up to these new ideas and wondering about working with you, I think you've made us a beautiful gift that people can get. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Sure, it's a video series, I think 4 or 5 videos that is emailed out, teaching empaths and HSPs psychic, energetic skills to
Oh,
to remodel their energetic field, because so many people who are HSPs and empaths feel cursed and have to have a smaller life because everything is overwhelming. This teaches HSPs and empaths how to manage their energy so that it becomes their superpower. Because empaths and HSPs have the gift of being sensitive and porous. Now, people think that that's a bad thing, and it is a bad thing if you don't manage it. But it's also, you can use your porous nature to shift reality, to shift outcome, because an HSP and empath can change faster than a non-HSP and empath because our fields are so fluid and dynamic. And that fluidness and that dynamism, you can then turn it to your advantage. So many HSPs and empaths say to me, my gift is for other people. No. Yes, other people benefit, but your gift is for you. And in this free gift, I show you how to turn your gift to your advantage.
I signed up and I got to watch 2 of them already. So thank you so much. It was wonderful. Yeah. Yeah. Why not? Um, well, I want to help as many people wake up to their divinity. And I'm really excited about this opportunity to learn from you, because what you're showing us is a very down to earth, grounded way to heal and enjoy our life a lot more during these changing times. So sounds fabulous. Thank you so much, Colby.
Oh, it's my pleasure. My absolute pleasure.
So,
Yeah.
so is there anything you want to leave us with? We want to, everyone will have your website and the link to the free gift. Would you like to leave us with any gift?
Let's see. What I want to say is to stop trying to fix yourself.
Beautiful.
Stop it. Instead, get on board. Stop fixing, developing, trying to bend yourself into some version of better. The goal is to accept who you are as you are. Because we're not here to build a building or to make a piece of art. We're here to become ourselves, our true selves. And the first step is to accept yourself as you are. And in accepting yourself, you open to a deeper state of presence, a deeper sense of ground and center, and then purpose finds you. You don't find purpose. Purpose finds you. It's an energy. Stop fixing yourself. Start accepting yourself. And if you want a partner in that, so that you can find who you are and find what you want and to hear the life that's calling you and step into it, I might be a good partner for that. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I encourage everyone to find Colby Wilk. His website again is colbywilk.com, and his free gift link was below here. And we'll make sure that if you have any more questions, that he's open to help you. I know that there's so many people that your intuition and your gifts could help right now going through all these changes so that they could live a joyful life. And I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for the work that you do. Thank you
God
so
bless
much.
you. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, sure. And everyone, please share if you have family that this is good for, or friends. Everyone needs this work. Thank you. Bye, Colby.
Bye.